Hi, welcome back. My name is Mika Tang and I'm your instructor for this course. I want to thank you again for supporting this course. If you'd like to learn a little bit about me, I posted some information on my education and experience in the previous section. Now, this course, I would love to inspire you and teach you how to fly drones safe and legal. So let's get into the agenda. What is a UAS? Basically, a SUAS is a small drone, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. The difference between recreational and commercial flying. I'll show you the FAA website that lists these differences, but also I'll show you some of the regulations that you may need to know in order to fly drones on a regular basis. Safety is very important when flying drones. A lot of people don't realize it because they treat them like toys. But I'll discuss some safety considerations, weather, and then also airspace. I've created some video scenarios. They're pretty entertaining. I thought this would be a good way to reinforce the FAA regulations that we discuss and help you to remember those things as you're out in the field flying. I have a list of 5 drone apps. There's more, but these are very important to have on your phone. I'll share that list with you and also discuss drone photography settings. Some people fly drones for recreation of it. A lot of people, as a hobby, enjoy photography. And so I want to show you, similar to a digital camera, the type of features that most drones have, like DJI and Autel. Now, if you already have a drone and you've been flying, then you're not new to this. But if you're new to flying drones, I don't want you to go out and take your brand new drone, like I did, and possibly crash it without having some experience flying it first. So, I'll share with you a few simulators that you can download. They cost probably about $30 to $40, which is a lot better than taking your drone that might cost $300, $1,000, whatever the cost. I don't want you to destroy that when you can fly a simulator first. And I'll go over the functions of a controller as well. And finally, if you think you might want to fly drones for work, I'll show you a few websites so you can look up the educational qualifications and experience that you need to fly at different levels. The drone industry is fast-paced and rapidly changing. In 2000, I started an aviation company to help youth to learn about careers in aviation, how to fly drones, aircraft, and also to learn about avionics. In addition, I have a property management company called Urban Pride Investments, LLC, where I did renovation and property management, and now I've added on services for real estate photography and inspections, thermal inspections, and roof inspections as well. All of this is super cool. How will you get involved? Let's kick off the course with a scenario.
Hey, Mika, drone lady, off right?
Hey, what's up?
Not bad, what's going on? All right, so I'm actually going to the Taste of Chicago right now. There's gonna be like 150,000 people there.
Whoa, that's
Just got a brand new truck, and I know you do the drones. Any chance you can just go over the whole crowd, go into like where our stand is gonna be, and just get some content for us so we can post?
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, but it's like right now though, we gotta go.
Like now?
Yeah, like now.
Oh, well, I think...
You need to plan this out a little bit. This sounds great now, but
So, are you gonna be able to do this for me? Get some content with the ice cream truck?
I think I need more time to plan, but you know what? Can I get an ice cream from you in the meantime?
All right, let's do it.
All right, I got you with the Fruity Pebbles. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
have a good one. And I really messed with that shirt. It's pretty groovy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll send you the link on Amazon.
Well, heck yeah, let's do it.
Hey, can I get my card?
Oh yeah, my bad.
Wow, that seemed very exciting. Before we discuss that scenario, let me back up for a second and discuss the FAA. For anyone that's not familiar, the FAA is the Federal Aviation Administration. This is the government agency responsible for managing our nation's busiest skies in the USA. Now, Part 107 is the regulation that deals with small unmanned aircraft systems, or SUAS, as we discussed before. SUAS are drones that weigh less than 55 pounds. And as you see on this website, if you go to faa.gov, the link is listed in the section below, you'll see all the operating requirements that I'll discuss in this course. There's information on how to register your drone on the website, and also different exams that you need to take for certification. And these are for recreational and commercial purposes. So under Part 107, drones that weigh less than 55 pounds total takeoff weight are under Part 107 regulation. Now, the other thing you need to know is if your drone weighs more than 250 grams or 0.55 pounds, which is really light, basically the size of the Mini 3 Pro, then you need to register your drone and label it. Instructions for that are on the FAA Drone Zone website. I've also included a link to that website below. Now, the difference between recreational versus commercial flying. I've done some research, and a lot of the regulations are very similar. The biggest difference is the exam that they require you to take. There's no cost for the trust exam, which I've included a link for that as well in the description below. And if you're flying for recreational purposes or enjoyment, you're not allowed to receive compensation for drone services. So that's the biggest difference between a recreational and a commercial drone pilot. Let's go to the website for the trust exam. Again, faa.gov. The link that I included will take you straight to the trust exam. You can read some information about it, but basically you go to Approved Test Administrators, and you can pick any of these links here or organizations. There's no charge for reviewing the material. And for example, this one takes you to Academy of Model Aeronautics. I'm actually a member of this organization. They have a lot of good resources. It tells you that the exam and study material are 15 to 30 minutes. You just click start, and there you go. After you're done, it will provide a certificate that you need to print and carry with you anytime that you're flying the drone. The next section is on FAA regulations. Here we are, the Code of Federal Regulations. If you scroll down, you'll notice Title 14, Part 107, which is Small Unmanned Aircraft Systems. This section covers everything about drones that weigh less than 55 pounds. As you see, there's definitions, regulations for inspection, safety reporting in case you have an accident, registration, which we talked about, medical. There's pages and pages of regulations. What I want to do in this course is cover 10 to 15 regulations that I tend to experience on a regular basis. First regulations that I'll cover: how high, fast, and far can I fly? In terms of altitude, you can only fly 400 feet above ground level. This is really only a factor if you're in mountainous terrain, but if you're in an area like Illinois that may be flat, then it's pretty easy to gauge because the takeoff area is most likely be the same at all areas that you'll be flying. But when you're flying in an area like Nevada or California, the terrain may change quickly right in the area that you'll be flying. So make sure that you're flying no more than 400 feet above ground level. As far as the speed, 100 miles per hour is the fastest you can fly. Most drones don't fly that fast, but there are some FPV racing drones that can be programmed to fly faster than 100 miles per hour. And then as far as how far you can fly, even though the range on a lot of drones are 3 miles, 5 miles, you can only fly within visual line of sight. Now, FAA Part 107 also discusses using a visual observer, basically there for additional safety. They can keep an eye on you, the person manipulating the controls, especially if you're wearing FPV or first-person view goggles. In this case, I was doing a drone inspection downtown Chicago, and so Maya, my visual observer, helped me a lot because sometimes if people see you flying, they want to approach you when you're flying, and that's not safe for the drone. That's also one of the regulations as well, is no flight over people that aren't part of the mission. And then the visual observer can also help you keep an eye on the aircraft. Sometimes there's trees or the building may be taller in certain areas. And so you make every attempt that you can to keep your eye on the drone and remain visual line of sight. But sometimes if you have your head down and you're looking at the control to take a picture, and this may be just momentarily because you need to try to keep your eye on the drone at all times, but the visual observer is there to help you in situations like this. Let's talk about flying at night. My first drone that I bought was a Parrot Anafi, and I didn't even realize it didn't have anti-collision lights like this. This is a DJI Mini 3 Pro, and it's actually capable of night flying based on Part 107 regulations. So if you're looking to purchase a drone and you think you're going to be flying at night, that's one thing that you might want to consider. Ensure it has anti-collision lights. And those are the red and green flashing colored navigation lights. Now, there's also other information for flying at night in terms of the definition of night. They talk about 30 minutes prior to sunset and civil twilight and all these other things. So make sure you go into the regulations and look at that as well. And approval for flying in controlled airspace. But basically that's the summary. If you want to fly at night, make sure you got the right lights. That rhymes. Safety considerations. I could probably talk for an hour about safety because these techie little gadgets have so much associated that could go wrong. They could fly away, they could disconnect from the GPS, they could hit vehicles, the blades spin really fast. I've cut my finger on them before. So although they seem like fun toys, there's a lot that could go wrong, and you want to make sure that you're safe. This includes safety gear, so wearing safety glasses if needed, ensuring that the area, you might want safety cones, a safety vest. I wear those so that people don't approach me as often. People see you flying a drone, they think it's really cool, and they walk close to you when you're in the middle of flying, and distractions can lead to accidents. The other thing, the regulation states that you as the pilot, you are responsible for inspections and planning. So you have to make sure your drone has proper paperwork. You as the pilot, that you've done your exams and you have your paperwork. Your drone is labeled if it's over a certain weight. You have to inspect your drone to make sure it doesn't have any damage before you fly, that your batteries are charged to a sufficient level. And then also, inspecting the area that you're flying in, and planning, checking the weather, the terrain, anything that you can do to make sure that you reduce the risk of having an accident. An example of this is one time I was flying and there were some power lines that I didn't see that were close to the area. So every time I tried to take off, I received a magnetic interference signal. Now, luckily, I didn't have any issues because I realized it, and then I changed my flying location to a different area so I wouldn't have a GPS or magnetic interference. But this could have led to a serious issue. All right, moving right along, flight over people. How tempting is it? You see a beach with all these people hanging out by water and sunset, and you just want to take your drone and fly and capture some amazing photography. Well, guess what? You can't do it. Those people aren't part of your mission, and they haven't been given a safety briefing. So, Part 107 says no flight over people that aren't part of your mission or that you have not discussed what you're going to be doing with. Flight from cars, boats, and planes, you are not allowed to take your drone, and even if you're the passenger in a car or boat or plane and you're not driving or flying or out on the water as the captain, you cannot fly from a moving vehicle like this. Reckless behavior, this includes flying either over the speed limit, flying under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or flying over someone's house. Maybe you're doing some espionage activity. Whatever you might be doing, don't do it if it's reckless behavior. Now, airspace considerations. In the next section of this course, I will talk about airspace, but if you're in controlled airspace, you have to get authorization before flying. That's all I'll say now, and I'll go into more detail later. If you are in that controlled airspace, you need what's called a LANCE authorization. And these last three, let's go to the website and look at this. Part 107 exam. If you're not taking a trust exam, which is for recreational purposes, but for commercial purposes, the exam is good for 24 months before you have to recertify it. It's $175. Again, you need to register and label your drone if it weighs more than 250 grams. And I'll show you the final remote ID rule. As of September 2023, the FAA has new regulations around any drone that you're flying has to have a broadcast ID so that they can track location. I believe the reason that they put this in place is for safety, and it's quite possible that there have been reports of people flying in areas that are unauthorized that might be dangerous to aircraft or other people, possibly national security areas. And so every drone is required as of September 2023 to have remote ID. So if you purchase a drone that is not manufactured with this, then there's some external devices that you can add to your drone to have this capability. In fact, I bought a drone last year and it already has the capability. If you purchased it before, you just want to make sure that it has the capability, or you purchase an external unit to add to your drone. Look at the exams and the registration website. All right, this is FAA Drone Zone. This website is amazing. It is constantly growing with new capabilities, but if you purchase a drone, and again, if it's more than 250 grams or 0.55 pounds, then basically you create an account, you log in, and you register your drone. It's $5. There's also some other activities that you can do as well, and just a lot of helpful information. Again, on the FAA.gov website, there's information here. If you would like to become a drone pilot, it talks about your eligibility, your age, mental condition, how to create an account, and if you're already a Part 61 pilot, like myself, I was already a pilot, there is a different link that you go to and you take an exam and then they send you your license. All right, my friends, that wraps up our overview of FAA regulations. It is a lot deeper than that, but this is a good overview to get you started and get you in the mindset of thinking about if you want to fly on a recreational level and take the trust exam, or if you want to take it another step further and actually study and take the commercial FAA Part 107 exam. I just want to show you that this is the license that you get in the mail. It says UAS and it has the FAA logo there. This is my pilot license and it actually looks very similar. So a lot of the content on both exams covers airspace, a little bit of aircraft physics, not a lot, but just some basic lift, thrust, weight, and drag. And it talks about weather, how to read weather, and some things that I learned when I was getting my private pilot license. So again, this is a commercial ATP license for flying fixed-wing aircraft, but it's the same administration from the FAA. So that's pretty cool, something to consider. That wraps up this section, and now we're going on to the next section and get back to these scenarios.